Good morning. Datson is outside. Ami is on the ramp. I'm going to be doing a bit of everything this week. It's a Wednesday morning. I came in yesterday and actually did some more work on the Datsun, so let me just show you that now. As you know, in the last video, I've been doing the tunnel on the Datsun, and as you can see, I've done an extra panel there. So that is the side panel just there. That's all fully welded in. Obviously, in the last video, we did the top piece just there. So, you know, there's one extra panel there. And we also have this panel here, obviously bead rolled again, fully seam welded in, and yeah, just integrated the floor, bent it into shape. I'm gonna have a little panel that comes off of here and sort of sweeps up into the panel to make that look sort of OEM looking. Obviously, next point of action is to get this panel done, that panel done, that panel done, that panel done. Same process, just different shapes. So when it gets to the front end bit, I might finish it off and show you another video on that, but this bit and this bit I'll do off camera. Finish off that bit. I've ordered a new shift boot for this, and it's off a MX5. Should be exactly the same diameter as the shifter itself, so it should slot straight over. As long as it fits in the area around the shifter, that would be good, because obviously that's what we need to do. So once the tunnel's done, I can then focus on gearbox mounts, engine mounts, pedal box. We've got a pedal box that needs to go in here. It's good to have some progress on this, other than it sitting in the back of the workshop out of shot, out of mind, you know what I mean? The vision is coming together now, so yeah, really happy with that. I think it's gonna look cool once it's all done. The hardest part is integrating the floor pan itself into the frame. This bit was quite easy. It gets a bit awkward on that bit because, as you see just there, that's a seat mount. Although we've got room, there is still things to, you know, figure out, but it'll be all right. I'll figure it out. It's just metal at the end of the day. And that brings us back onto the AMI. Now, I had a couple of days off the AMI because it was doing my head in, and there's lots of little things that just do your head in, and you just need to take a little break. So I'm taking a break, I don't think about it, and then we're back on it. If you've been keeping up with the video, you already know that I've had problems with it lowering itself 10 mil. So the 10 mil that I have been chasing is minuscule, but it does need it to make the car look good once it's aired out. And I haven't shown you what it looks like fully aired out from the side, blah, blah, blah. I will do once it's all back together. I did say that in the last video, but I'm gonna say it again. So the problem that we're having is this bush just here. So, you know, we countersunk this bolt here, that's fine. This bush is fine, but because this bush here, try to get a good picture of it, because it goes up at that silly angle there, you know, the weight of the car wants to go like that. That bush is literally twisting. And the weight of the car can't overcome the bush. So the bush itself is causing great difficulty. Now, if that arm wasn't pointing all the way up, and, you know, the arm was more straight, that bush wouldn't be under much strain. So it would then air out a lot easier, and we should get that extra 10 mil. The extra 10 mil is fine. We've got it in the bags that we can get like hundreds and hundreds of extra drop if we want to with the bags. That's not an issue. It's that bush, I'm pretty sure. The drive shaft should be fine, but it's the angle of the arms. Now, this is very common on like VWs, like Mark 3 to Mark 2, blah, 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 Golfs, all over that platform. They have this same bush problem, and that bush gets a lot of strain in it. However, this isn't a VW, but it is the same shape. The same principle applies. The ball joint's here. On this arm, the ball joint is mounted on the underside of the arm. All right? Which is fine, doesn't matter. But for what we need, if we wanted to get that arm sitting at a more nicer angle, what we can do is take the ball joint off and then put it on the inside. Therefore, that arm would then be down like that. Basically, you get what I mean, because this point isn't going to move compared to the arm, but we can move the arm away from the ball joint. So what I'm going to do is grind those rivets off there, take it out, nut and bolt it from the inside up there, and then hopefully the car airs out that extra 10 mil, and that's all we need. That modification is very popular in the VW world. I'll see if I can stick some pictures up here, but it basically is the done thing. You see it quite a lot on load vehicles. It makes the car drive a lot nicer, usually eliminates bump steer when paired with a track rod flip. It is a good thing to do, and it should help us in our quest to get an extra 10 mil drop. That's what I want, just the 10 mil. But we've got a few other things we need to do to this AMI today, and hopefully in this video we can get pretty much all of it done, apart from one thing, and I broke an electrical clip and I need to fix that, but I need a special tool to do it, so I can't do that yet because I'm waiting on the tool. But other than that, most of it will be done. There's some extremely strong rivets. That's probably the strongest thing on the entire car. And then you just simply bolt it back together. Usually you would put like some spacers underneath that, or a big spacer block. I'll put some pictures up here if I can find some. And that usually also lowers it down. But because we only need a little bit, just a little bit, we might not have to put any spacers underneath it. So I'm gonna try it without it. And then I'm gonna mock up some spacers in there if it does need it and see if it makes a difference. But yeah, hopefully just moving that for the other side of the control arm is what's gonna allow the car to air out flat. Here we go. They are now on the opposite side of the arm. Do ignore that hardware. Obviously I am gonna change them, but I am using longer hardware in case I need to put some spacers underneath it and make it longer just for mock-up purposes. But this is the method that we're going with. Let's hope this works, because otherwise it's just a pain in the ass. I have thought about flipping the arm upside down. I think if I put this one on that side, that one on that side, we could get a little bit more of a, but we'll see how we go. I'd rather just put spaces on it, but I did have a look into that. Right then, it's on the floor. Let's see if we can get it to air out fully. I'm hoping that this just works, because that would be nice, wouldn't it? It's done the same thing. So I'm now gonna put some spacers for mock-up purposes inside there, space that ball joint out, bring that control arm down. And if that works, then we know that's what the problem is. And if not, then we have to resort to the dry shaft issue. I don't think the problem is in the bags currently. Even though they're not compressed now, that's because of the way they're set up. But yeah, let's try put some spacers under there. Spacers. Now, for mock-up purposes, this is what we're doing. So, imagine this is all connected and there's one big spacer that goes along here, inch thick, inch thick, inch thick, and that's what's gonna happen. And that brings the control arm down at a nice angle. Obviously, I'm just using nuts for now, for mock-up purposes only. They will not stay in there. Those bolts won't stay in there. Mock-up purposes only, but this is to test the theory that this is going to work. And you can see the arm is at a much nicer angle already. As long as it doesn't hit the bottom of the wheel, we'll be all right. And yes, it does. So let's hope that this works as a theory. Let's try again. Hasn't worked again, which makes me think that it definitely is the dry shaft. So that means I'm gonna pull the dry shafts out, I guess. That is really not helpful, but this car, man, this car is just a pain. Some time has passed and I didn't take the dry shafts out because I thought even if it does work without the dry shafts, we're not going to take them out and get them shortened or anything like that, because, well, to be quite frank, it's very expensive for a little bit of ground clearance. But what I did do was raise the back up, and that also helped a tiny little bit as well. It was airing out obviously further on the back than it would the front by about 10 mils. So I raised the rear bags up, get us a little bit of extra height and ground clearance from full height, and it airs out pretty similar now. You sort of have to air it out then drive it forward a bit because the tracking on the front as well, I'm putting it down to, the tracking on the front is stopping it air out, kinda. So the tyres can't move because it's so light and it can't overpower the tyres. So if you drive forward, slam on the brakes, air it out, then drive forward a little bit more, it will then drop that little tiny bit further. What a pain in the ass. So I think if we get it tracked, it might work. And if we drive it like more than up and down the yard, it also might help. So raise the back up. I'm going to dial in some more front height on the bags, and then I'm going to start throwing the thing together. I'm just driving it and seeing if it wears it in after like a good amount of miles. Pain. Yeah, let's get the front end on. And also, as I've adjusted more height into the AMI, you can see that that bag is now fully decompressed, and you know the subframe is still that gap off the floor, which is exactly the same as it was. So the AMI is heavy enough to drop on the floor, but I think driving it at this height needs to be done and then reassess the situation after like 500 miles, because this is a brand new car at the end of the day. It's laying flat on one side. The bag is fully compressed. But if you cut the other side, it's not. And I think there might be a stone underneath here or something. This is what we're dealing with, and I think it's just getting used to itself. Man, that's weird to see a bumper on it. Completely different car. Also, not sure if I mentioned this, this actually goes into the bulkhead of the car. If we go in here, you can probably see where it's going here. That little bulkhead fitting, we can then connect this to the bulkhead, and we can fill our tyres up on the go with the compressor and all the onboard air. So yeah, I'm gonna fit this new adapter that I've just got, this little right angle piece and step down, and our leader line is going to go into that, and we should have onboard air for the first time. Obviously we've got to drain it. Where is the drain? All connected. Let's build some pressure up in the tank and see if it works. I think I need to do this two hands. Now, put this in the door card or whatever. Put your tyres up wherever you want. Discreet, I like it. Right, so if you look at this, what we see here is a car that is unfinished, correct? But it's the next day now, and I've put the car back together. I've undone all of the stuff that I did previously in the video, and I can still get it to air out the same. So I have comfortably come to the decision that it's literally just tracking that's holding the car up. Just tracking. If you put it in a nosedive, drive forward, slam on the brakes, air it out, then air the back out, it likes it and it will air out fully. But if you just air it out normally, it won't air out fully. So from here, I'm going to put the bumper on. Now the rear bumper isn't ready to go on yet, but I just want to go out in it and drive it on the road for the first time and see what it's actually like. And also bed in all of the issues that we seem to be having. Hopefully we can overcome them. Look at that. Very, very dirty bumper. Now this has got to come back off again. I've got to realign this light, and I've got to fix a plug on this light because it fell apart in my hand as I took it apart. Yeah, this is the back of a AMI. The lowest that you'll see an AMI, I guess. Funny. You're balanced on the dashboard. This is going to be the first drive of the Ami after all this work. Everything's buttoned up, well, 90% of it, enough to drive. So, let's go. It's so weird. I've only driven this when I first got it, and I don't know what it's going to be like. Comfort. Ah, no! It's okay. It's okay. It's comfy. Not bad. I think it's better than factory. We have 15 psi in the front, 30 psi in the back. Dries absolutely fine. Probably the same as what I did before, if I'm honest. Maybe a little bit comfier. I don't know. I'd have to have them side by side. But yeah, it works. It's pretty noisy, but that's because there's no sound deadening in it. So made it home. Just want to show you how much psi it takes to lift it. I'll put it on the preset. 147 psi. We put it onto preset. Oh. Not even like 10 psi out the tank. Doesn't even kick in the compressor. So now I can go do a little bit more driving, put some more mileage on it. As a whole, I'm impressed. I think it's better than stock. The fear of the compressor like draining the range and whatnot isn't really a problem. Doesn't, like, you can't even notice it as being a problem, and it works. It goes up and down. I think obviously I'm going to drive it over this weekend as much as I can. I need to give it a wash and yeah, just finalize everything, get it tracked and whatnot. So I might get it tracked in the morning, not sure. I'll do some more mileage in it tonight. It's literally a greenhouse in here, as you can imagine. But yeah, I think we're finally at the end. Finally.
That bloke's taking a picture. Crazy.
We're actually charging it for the first time since I've had it, so. It's fine. They're big speed bumps as well. So, it's a lovely evening. I've done about 20 miles on the Ami and you get so many looks. Unbelievable amount of looks. I've had people taking pictures of it. I even found another Ami. I went down and searched for it because I knew there was one in my town. See here, parked next to it. Terrible picture. But yeah, so cool. I can conclude that the Ami is done and it just needs driving and bedding in. All the bushes are a bit stiff and stuff, but I think the more I'm driving it, the better it actually is. So I just thought I'd make this video because I didn't have anything else to film this week, and I know a lot of people had their input when I was having the problem before. Tested all the theories and yeah, well, finished it up now and it is looking very cool. I'm very pleased, but obviously I can't show you yet because I want it to be finished before I show you, because I'm a tease like that, and that's what I am doing. Do apologise, I can drag this video series on for long, but you'll only see probably 1 or 2 more of this car. So thanks for sticking around, I guess. Gonna roll hard at the weekend, and I will hopefully get a video while I'm there taking the E34, and I think I'm gonna put it up for sale this weekend. So if anyone fancies it, let me know. That money will go into other cars and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching, subscribing, sticking around, and appreciate you all. Thank you. Goodbye.